Good morning, students. The chapter for this day is The Sound of Music. Let's start reading it. So, part one, Evelyn Granny listens to sound without hearing it. So, how can somebody listen to a sound without hearing it? Yes. Can anyone guess? Can you listen? Can someone listen to a sound without hearing it? What's the difference between hearing and listening? First, tell me the difference between hearing and listening. Who will tell the difference between hearing and listening? Raise hand. Yes, Ansha. Ansha, you can give the answer. Hmm.
Ma'am, hearing refers to listening with ears. We can listen with any part of our body, but hearing refers to listening with ears.
Yeah, that is okay. And moreover, listening is intentional and hearing is unintentional. When I'm sitting in this room, then in between I may listen to the chirping. I may hear some chirping of the birds. Okay, if somebody knocks at the door, I may hear it. Means I won't have to make efforts to hear something, but listening needs attention. Listening needs efforts. Okay, and moreover, we can listen with any part of our body. Okay, but hearing is with only ears, right? Yeah, listening with focus, right? Listening music, right? So here we are talking about, we are going to talk about Evelyn Glennie. So let's see, like, what is special about Evelyn Glennie? Why does writer talks about her? So God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any one of us. That's why she expresses music so beautifully. So, read the following account of a person who fought against a physical disability and made her life a success story. So, Evelyn Glanny is in other words, we can call her a differently abled person. She was differently abled. So, what have you been able to make out so far? That she might not be able to listen. Okay, God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. So what is special about the people, those who are differently abled? Earlier, people used to call the people as handicapped. If somebody would be blind, or if somebody would be deaf, or if somebody would be, lame, or something, so people would call him uh, handicapped. But that is a wrong interpretation for those people, because they are not handicapped. If they are, if they have not been, if they have not been, fortunate enough to have all the faculties, then God has given them with some another extraordinary ability. A blind person may not be able to see, but that person may be able to feel or hear more better than many of us. So these people are called as differently abled, or the ones through those who have got extraordinary caliber, extraordinary abilities. So here, Evelyn Glennie, she God might have taken her hearing, but has given her something which is extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any one of us. That's why she expresses music so beautifully. So here is read the following account of a person who fought against a physical disability and made her life a success story. So here we are going to read about a person who made her physical disability who took it as a challenge and made her life a success story. So children, do you know anyone else's name? Do you know anyone who was differently abled but made a mark in the world because of her, extraordinary skills? Do you know anyone name? Yes, come on. Helen Keller, yes, Gia, Janvi, Gia. So all these children are telling me Ishani also. So Helen Keller. Helen Keller is one name which comes to our mind, first of all, when we think about any person who is differently abled but still had been able to give us an example of success in her own way. So Helen Keller, as you all know, was what? Helen Keller was deaf, dumb, blind. Yet what we know her, because she was able to overcome all her disabilities and was able to make a mark in the life. So what she did is something so unique that even many people, those who are so you know so much capable of doing everything, are not able to do. So here, let's start off the chapter. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. So here we are going to talk about a girl who was profoundly deaf. So what happened? She's at the railway station. She's waiting for her train, and she's able to make out that the train is approaching through its vibrations. She's 17 years old girl, a slight girl, small and thin. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years. She doesn't look to be 17 years. She was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. So she was heading towards the Royal Academy of Music in London, and it was her first day there. So it was her first day and daunting enough for any teenager, and it was a frightening experience for any person, the one who is coming fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. So this girl, it was not the only challenge which she was facing in her life. So what challenges I'm talking right now? So the challenge of going to the Royal Academy, kinds of high profile academy, where she was going towards, that was a challenge for her to reach there. But the bigger challenges she had already faced. What was the bigger challenge which she had already faced? That she was deaf. She had already faced the challenge of physical impairment, and she had been going through this. So she was accustomed to the challenges in life. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Now we are going to read like how she became deaf. So her loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. So Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. So Evelyn was not like deaf by birth. So when she was about 8 years old, then her mother noticed something wrong. So she noticed something wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized that she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. So when Evelyn was 8 years old, then her mother noticed that she was not able to listen. They, like she was being called out, but she did not respond to play piano. And for some time, for about 3 years, Evelyn was able to, yeah, she was able to pretend, she was able to hide her deafness from her friends and relatives. But by the time she was 11 years old, her deafness became quite prominent, and her teacher suggested Evelyn's parents to take her to a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. So at the age of 11, when she was taken to the specialist, then uh, they got to know that her uh, ability to listen or hear, that had been like very badly handicapped, that had been badly weakened because of gradual nerve damage. So what made her become deaf? So nerve damage. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. So the specialist or the doctors advised them that they should make their child have the hearing aids, and moreover they should admit their child in a school specially meant for the deaf. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. So the moment she got to know about this, everything suddenly looked black. So it appeared like nothing was there in this world. So she became hopeless. But Evelyn was not going to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. So Evelyn was not ready to give up. She was not ready to go to a separate school meant for deaf. Okay. So she wanted to pursue a normal life. She wanted to lead a normal life. And she wanted to chase her dream of becoming a musician. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. So one day Evelyn saw a girl playing a musical instrument called xylophone, and she also decided that she would also play that. Most of the teachers discouraged her. Most of the teachers discouraged her, but percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. So teachers discouraged Evelyn to go for that kind of music, but there was one person who was that, but the percussionist Ron Forbes. He saw that she had a potential to become a musician. He began by turning, he began by tuning two large drums to different notes. So Ron Forbes was able to make out that this girl has has the caliber to be a musician. So he started by tuning two large drums to different notes. Don't listen through your ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way, says Evelyn. Suddenly, I realized that I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and lower one from the waist down. So Ron Forbes advised Evelyn not to listen through the ears, but she should listen through some other channel, through some other faculty. And that she did. And when he was playing two tunes on two different, drums, she was able to make out that she was able to listen to that she could feel the higher drum from the waist up, and she was able to feel the lower drum from the waist down. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So what was the discovery? What was the revelation to Evelyn? Evelyn was able to discover that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. Basically, we listen the notes, we hear notes, we listen notes. But what she was able to do, she was able to sense, that is, feel the notes through different parts of her body. I had learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. So what she had learned or she had trained her mind to open her mind and body to sounds and vibrations. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. So first she was able to discover that she could sense, that she could feel the notes and vibrations. And in order to become perfect upon that, in order to master whatever she was going to learn, there it was what was required, her determination and hard work was required. She never looked back from that point onwards. She toured she toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16 she had decided to make music her life. So from that incident onwards, what she had with Ron Cobbs, she never looked for behind. Okay, she always she even went to United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. So she went with a team of orchestra to United Kingdom, and by the time she was 16, she had already made up her mind to become a musician, to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. Got it? So she auditioned, she gave a short performance so that the director could decide whether she was good enough. So she auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and got highest marks. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances. So earlier she would give only orchestral performances, like there she would be there in a team, but later on she started giving solo performances. At the end of her 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. See this? And for all this, Evelyn won't accept any hint of heroic achievement. So Evelyn, despite her handicap, despite the problem she had, she was not ready to accept the title of being heroic. She didn't want to be termed as heroic, because what she said, if you work hard and know where you are going, you'll get there. So she said, like, I'm not great, because anyone can become great provided one is hard worker and provided one is determined. With your determination and hard work, you can do whatever you want in your life. So, and she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with the mastery of some 1,000 instruments and hectic international schedule. So Glanny, and this girl became one of the she became one of the world's most sought after multi-percussionist. So she became the most famous percussionist who could who had the mastery of some of the 1,000 instruments. She could play thousands of musical instruments, and she was very busy with her international schedule. Okay, she would keep on going from one place to another to give her musical concerts. It is intriguing to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. So it is really mysterious. It's really very fascinating to see Evelyn working effortlessly without hearing. So when one looks at Evelyn, the way she works as if she's not making any efforts, even without hearing, that sounds very strange. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. So the interviewer, the writer, when he was interviewing her, that discussion went for 2 hours, and during this time, this Evelyn never missed a single word. How could she not miss a single word when she could not even listen? And the strange thing is that the irony is that we people who are able to listen so well, we've got such good hearing a capacity. When we are listening to somebody, we listen hardly 20%. Got it? The point is, like, supposing right now, whatever I'm speaking, though the text is in front of you, even then, if I ask you to speak up each and every point of the whole chapter, You won't be able to repeat the whole of the thing word to word or point by point. You might be able to give me the gist of the chapter. You might be able to give me the important points, but not the everything, though we are able to listen and hear properly. But this girl, it was very strange to see how she never missed even a single word. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards give me trouble. Men with bushy beards give me trouble, she laughed. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. So what makes her understand what one is speaking? Then she would read one's face, she would read one's lips gesture, right? It's the whole face, especially the eyes. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. What is lilt? It's a way of speaking. What is flawless? Without a mistake. So how would she listen to the others? She would listen to the others thereby reading their face, reading their lips, thereby understanding their eyes. So she says, like, in order to understand others, in order to listen to others, you have to read one's full face, whole face, especially the eyes. Now just see, I'm wearing specs when I say, especially the eyes. See, my eyes also lit up. So when you listen to somebody, you must look at that person also. That is also very important. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. Often we are able to speak so well because we listen others. But how is she able to speak so well? How is she able to speak flawlessly? Because she reads people's faces also. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11. One more reason is there. Why is she able to speak so well? Because she was able to listen till the age of 11. But that doesn't explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. She was a Scottish, but even then she knew French and Japanese also. So you cannot explain. It's not an excuse that she could listen up till the age of 11. That's why she's able to speak so well. Then what about her Japanese and French language? That she never listened. So Japanese and French she learned when she had already become deaf. But she was able to speak those languages too well because she would read people's faces. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body. It tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. So when somebody asks him, like, how did you become such a good musician? How have you become a multi-percussionist? Then what she says, that music comes in me. Music flows in me through every part of my body. When we people listen to music, we listen only through our ears. But how she listens? She listens to the music through each part of her body. Music flows in through every part of my body. It tingles in the skin, my cheekbones, and even in my hair. So music goes in her through her skin, through her hair, through her cheekbones. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. So when she plays that musical instrument, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she can feel the resonances flowing into her body. What are resonances? The echoes of sound. So when she leans against the drum, when she leans against the drum, she can feel the resonance or the echo of the drum flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and up her legs. So wherever the musical instruments are there, on the wooden platform, she removes her shoes and all so that the vibrations may pass through her bare feet and up her legs. Not surprisingly, Evelyn delights her audiences. In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award, says master percussionist James Blade. God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any one of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. So, Evelyn is able to delight, amuse, and amaze her audiences. She has got such prestigious Soloist Award of the Year. She got this in 1991. Then James Blades, the one who was a master percussionist, he says that what makes her such a great musician, it was because it was because she had been bestowed upon with something extraordinary by God. And what that extraordinary was, that she was able to feel music. We hear, but she feels. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. So she confesses, she agrees, she accepts the fact that for her work is something which she cannot leave. So workaholic is a person who finds it difficult to stop working. Drug addicts are those who cannot live without drugs. Workaholics are the people, those who cannot live without doing work. For them, work is, uh, work is worship. So she is the one who always keeps working. I've just got to work, often harder than classical musicians, but the rewards are enormous. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. So what she does, she even gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. Anne Richland of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says, she is a shining inspiration for deaf children. They see that there is nowhere they cannot go. So this Evelyn has become an inspiration for millions of children, especially for the deaf, because those children come to know that if Evelyn kind of person can reach the heights, then they also can do everything what they want. So there is nothing which they cannot achieve. Evelyn Glanny has already accomplished more than most people twice her age. So Evelyn has been able to achieve more than what many of the people who are twice her age have not been able to achieve. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. So it was Evelyn who made it possible that who made this who brought percussion to the front of the orchestra. In the orchestra, drums and all are used to lead, but now she had brought percussion to the front and she has proved it that even percussion can be the best one if it is brought to the front. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, right? People who look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. So she has become an inspirational model. She has become a role model for many of the people. And they say, like, if she can do this, then even I can do this. And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. So she has not only become a role model for the deaf, she has also become a enormous pleasure to millions. So how has she become enormous pleasure to millions? Because she is giving music. A musician gives pleasure to each and everyone in the world. So that's how the writer is able to tell us about this Evelyn Glanny, right? So now here are the questions. The time is almost over, children. So these questions you go through today, and tomorrow we'll discuss these questions. Then we'll start off the second part, the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. Okay, that's a beautiful part, even second one. Tomorrow we'll start this off, and today you people go through these questions and see if you know them. So how old was Evelyn when she went to the Royal Academy of Music? How old was she? You all know this. You people write down these answers. First part you just have to only know, write it on the notebook itself. Second and third part you have to write in your notebooks. So see if you can. If you cannot, if you don't understand this, then tomorrow we'll discuss. Right?